Que lo que lo que. ¿Qué pasa, mis amigos? ¿Cómo están, mis hombres? Hoy va a estar prediciendo las peleas de la cartelera de UFC Noche. Esta cartelera es bastante mala, excepto por la pelea principal. No olvides dar like, dejar un comentario y suscribirte. Ahora vamos a empezar con la primera pelea. Alright, now that we're done with my nice little Spanish intro to show that I'm a little bit bilingual, let's get into this. If you don't understand any fucking Spanish, I just said don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Also, I did say this card is awful, which it is. So this is not going to be as long of a breakdown. And most of you can't sit through fucking 40 minutes anyway, because you all have the attention spans of 8-year-olds. But I just disrespected a lot of my subscriber base. Which is, you know, whatever. We're building a family here, so it's a little bit of tough love all the way around. Let's get into this. So the first fight we have on the prelims is the tough final, right? This is Rodrigo Sezinando versus Daniil Donchenko. One of them's from Brazil, the other's from Ukraine. They're tough guys. As I said, Daniil. He seems like a nice guy. He beat everybody on fucking Tough. Not that I was watching a ton of Tough. I honestly watched so much more Contender Series than Tough. But, he has Ukrainian power. I'll say that about him. Maybe he's doing it for the people back home. Only 24 years old. Again, I forgot to mention, this is a welterweight fight also. He has good conditioning. He's going to throw a lot of fucking volume. I really don't have much to say about this fight because I haven't really watched a lot of them fight. But I'm going to go round 2. TKO from Rodrigo Sezinando. This guy was pretty boring on the show, I think. And not particularly fun. I don't want him to lose or want him to win. Let's go with my Ukrainian brother, Daniil Donchenko. In another life, you could probably have been an action star, maybe. You kind of have that look to you. Anyway, on to the next card. On to the next fight. Pereira versus Montserrat Rendon. Now, something I have to get at this. Alice Pereira, this is actually not his. This is not his sister. They just have the same last name. She's only 19. That's just something to point out. Don't get any ideas. Here's what I'll say, because you never really know with these kind of women or these women MMA fight debuts when it's like they're so young, like less than 21 years old. You really never know what you're going to expect. I've actually seen some clips of her, and she does look decent. But it's kind of too early to tell. Or it's kind of too early for me to pick over somebody who's actually fought in the UFC before. Not that Montserrat Rendon has a ton of experience. There's really any good whatsoever at fighting. But she also sucks. This isn't really a fight I'm interested in. This is what I mean. These early prelims doesn't even have my girls like Mama B. Or Sam Hughes, like people I can't even make fun of. Like I don't have much to say. Montserrat sucks. Alice Pereira is only fucking 19. 5'10", she's a big ass woman. I mean, I guess bantamweight, so these are larger women, 136 pounds, but 5'10", fucking get her in the WNBA. But I'm gonna take. I feel like it's a safe pick to just take Montserrat Rendon by unanimous decision. Listen, if Alice Pereira comes out here and just beats her fucking off, I'll be happy. You know what I mean? I would love if we got this exciting prospect. She hasn't looked great in her last fight, or maybe it was the fight before. But whatever. She's on a 5-fight win streak in the pros, so good for her. She doesn't even have a fucking she doesn't even have a freaking like profile picture on the UFC website yet, so they don't really give two shits about her. Anyway, on the next one, we got a flyweight fight. Alessandro Costa versus Alden Coria. Alden Coria, I think, has taken this fight on short notice. I believe so. He's gonna fucking lose. I don't even know who he is. I just know he's taking this fight on short notice. Alessandro Costa, he's got good calf kicks. He also has lost to like actual people. He lost to Steve Erceg, and he also lost to, who was it? Amir Albazi. So he has like good, he has reasonable losses. And he also beat Kevin Borges. Not that that's something insane. He's fought in the UFC before. There's a reason why he's a minus 420 fucking favorite. I have seen the very few clips I've seen of Alden Coria. I like how I'm adding this Spanish flair on anybody that I might presume might be Latino. It's kind of funny, a little bit racist too, but I think Alessandro Costa, his calf kicks are just gonna brutalize poor Alden Coria. I don't even know what kind of a fucking name Alden is. And this is somebody coming with the name Kieran, so maybe I gotta do some research on Alden. Maybe it's some kind of ethnic name or something. I don't know. I'm gonna just say he'll probably get like a ground and pound TKO. I've seen I think I interrupt myself when I started making fun of Alden Coria. I've seen some clips of him. He has decent boxing and can take Alessandro Costa down. But if that happens, I just think Alessandro Costa will shoot a guillotine or something and could win by sub. This is just a bad debut for Alden Coria. He'll probably never fucking fight in the UFC again. I mean, I guess he's only 27, so why am I hating on this guy? I'm gonna go round 2 TKO for Alessandro Costa, my Brazilian brother. That's how I'm feeling. Alden Coria, this is a tough first fight and debut. One thing I do want to point out, though, Alessandro Costa's fucking 5'4". He's like a little tank, this guy. So keep that in mind when if you're putting this fight on. Yet again, there's really no money to be made here. He's a massive favorite. Now we're at least going to get to the part of the fight where you might know a name. Zach Reese versus Sedriques Dumas. Again, I added that dumb thing, even though this guy is not Latino. He's black. It's a middleweight fight. Sedriques Dumas, he's been in the news a bit recently. He's been bitching on Twitter about how he has no money and the UFC doesn't pay him anything. And, you know, again, I could go into a whole rant about the fucking no paying or whatever. But then you look into his past, the guy's got multiple felonies, so he should change his name from the fucking Reaper, his nickname on here, to the fucking Felon. That should be his name. I think he has a bunch of assault and battery charges against him. Sucks for him, but that's why you have $13 in your fucking checking account. He sucks. He has no money and he wonders why, which I already said. He got killed by Mikhail Shashek, which is not a bad loss by any means. Just I wanted to point it out. I think he got slapped in that fight. Which one was that? 4 months ago. I remember watching this and just being like, what a pathetic loser. Yeah, he lost that. That was not that it was a bad loss or anything, because Shashek, he's a legit guy. But it's just to point out that he's pathetic and he sucks. I'm gonna go Zach Reese, as I have barely mentioned this guy, by knockout. Probably in the second round. He has good kicks from range. He'll be able to mix him up, get to the body. He has more knockout power than Sedriques Dumas. And yeah, again, Sedriques Dumas just is uncompetitive and he's useless and he's probably gonna get cut. They've given this guy multiple opportunities, and he decides to just fucking spend his money on God knows what and beat people up for no reason. So, round 2 TKO or knockout for my boy Zach Savage Reese, who also trains at War Training Center. I don't know if that has any relation to do with the baseball statistic. On to the next one, we got Jesus Aguilar versus Luis Gurule. Luis Grim Gurule and Jesus Aguilar. I mean, he's too cool for a fucking nickname, I guess. Again, the one thing I'll note of Jesus Aguilar, I haven't watched a ton of him, but I do remember him losing to Tatsuro Taira 2 years ago. He got subbed. Not a bad loss, just to say that he's lost somebody. He's actually from Mexico. I don't think he's the first Mexican fighter we've had on here, but he's the first one I'm going to fucking pick. He's actually a big... Maybe the odds have shifted a little, but I thought he was like in the 200s or plus 200 underdog, but plus 170. The fact that he's even an underdog. Luis Gurule just beats fucking cans. I think he's only had like one fight in the UFC, and he fought one bum on the Contender Series. A split decision and lost to Ode Osborne, who just lost to Steve Erceg. Again, I'm just flexing my knowledge right there. Not that that's much knowledge, it's just that I've watched the UFC in the past 2 months. One thing I want to say, always stick with a guy named Jesus. You know what I mean? It has to be. Jesus Aguilar's got to win it. And he's Mexican, which actually has nothing to do, because you might be saying, oh, this is UFC Noche, shouldn't you ride with the Mexicans? This isn't like France, where they get the power, where they get that boost, you know what I mean? Like, Slimes, these Mexicans will just get flat out, flatline KO'd, or just finished. Who the fuck knows? I don't know how. I'm going to do a Mexican tally up at the end of this, just to see how many I picked. But, Luis Gurule, he's not good enough of a fighter to beat Jesus. Jesus, this is a classic guy he's just going to deal with. He'll beat him. Gurule's defense sucks, and Aguilar is good enough on the feet that he should be able to rock him, and then maybe sub him in round 2. Yeah, and really, at the end of the day, my overall message for this fight is just stick with Jesus. So, am I going to go sub or knockout? I've gone with a lot of... let me just look at his recent wins. Sub. There's really a lot. We're going to go sub. He got finished by guillotine by Rafael Estevam. We're going to go sub in round 2. I think he'll rock him and then get him into something. Either not a guillotine. Maybe he'll take his back and then rear naked choke. That's just my idea. Not that I'm some fucking submission expert. Again, you could see the difference between the breakdown for UFC Paris and fucking this shit ass card is night and day. Because that card, the prelims, had bangers. And let me tell you something. A lot of the times with these shitty ass UFC cards on paper, they always have something interesting. Like, obviously, I'm still gonna watch the whole thing. It's my job. It's my job, guys. But yeah, I guarantee this card will still be fun. But just the names are just so ass. But here's a women's fight that I know the women fighting: Tatiana Suarez versus Amanda Lemos, strawweight. I remember the first time I saw Amanda Lemos fight, I could have sworn this guy was a dude. Just the short hair, the weird little gay Justin Bieber look she's got going on. She's old as shit. She has like maybe 2 moves in her arsenal, like 1 overhand or hook, and then 1 submission move in her in her arsenal. So she's not good. Suarez is gonna fucking toss her around, out physical her like a JV versus varsity, like Tony Soprano and those guys from Seton Hall. Like when he was in college, he would have never fucking made it. Never had the makings as a varsity athlete. Tatiana Suarez, I'm going to predict, just going to choke her out fucking bad. Toss her around like a fucking bag of bricks. Chris Brown style. We're going to go Tatiana Suarez. Round 2 sub. Go back-to-back round 2 submissions. Last week was also so bad. Last week's card I just did so bad on. I kind of breezed through it on the recap of the card, but I just did so bad. So again, I just apologizing right here. Claudio. Onto the next fight. Lightweight Claudio Puelles versus Joaquim Silva. Claudio Puelles is like the Peruvian fucking Ryan Hall. If remember his fight against Dan Hooker, where it was just he was doing his best Ryan Hall impression, except he's a Latino. Not really. Originally, I actually was leading to pick him for this fight. But fuck these BJJ guys who want to come in here and they just want to roll around on the fucking ground and do fucking nothing. Silva's good enough on his feet. He can't grapple for shit though. That's the funny thing. He's not really great grappling, and he also has small arms. I don't even know if the 69 reach is accurate. I thought it was smaller than that when I looked at it. I think Puelles, he'll probably still take him down. He'll get like a leg lock. He'll throw in other submissions. This fight's going to be boring. I think I'm just going to lean with Joaquim Silva actually being a UFC fighter or training mixed martial arts. Like, he's not just going to fucking, I'm going to roll around the ground and just fucking do leg locks and a bunch of bullshit and heel hooks. Fuck these BJJ guys. And I like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like, I have respect for the martial art. But don't come into the UFC and don't fucking stand and bang with guys and just roll on the ground and then bitch when people don't come to the ground with you. So I'm going to go Joaquim Silva by unanimous decision. I'll only be interested in this fight just for the sake, just to see Claudio Puelles just roll around on the fucking ground like an idiot. Anyway, I can't believe this is the fucking feature fight on the prelim. You know what I mean? This is absolutely ridiculous. Jose Medina versus Duško Todorović in a middleweight bout. Jose Medina is just a fat Bolivian sack of fat. He's shit. He sucks. He might be the worst fighter in the UFC. I don't even think it's an exaggeration to say that. He's a blob punching bag. And it's funny because Duško Todorović is also awful. He sucks too. The thing about Jose Medina, this guy got into the UFC by losing to in the fucking Contender Series just because he smiled and was just a good punching bag. Dana's like, this guy's got to have a job, guys. This kid fights. I don't know how he's still in the UFC. He gets killed and his ass beat in every fight. I don't even remember if he's gotten finished. I just remember him getting punched in the face a lot. Loses unanimous. He did. Oh, he got. How could I forget? I think I was gonna get to that point. He got his shit rocked by Baby Ngannou, Gautier. That's his highlight. That's his claim to fame. So if this is Jose Medina's last fight in the UFC, I'm just gonna remember him being a fat punching bag who can't do anything and died against Baby Ngannou. And his only good qualities, and I wrote on here that he's Mexican in my notes. He's Bolivian, so I lied. His only good qualities is he's Bolivian fat. He smiles a lot. I mean, I guess, show those teeth off, buddy. And he also is tough. I'll give him credit, Getting punched in the face and really have nothing to show for it is honestly impressive. Todorović, at least I can say he knows how to throw a punch. He's Serbian, so a little bit of that Chechen power. You know what I mean? That Soviet power. I don't even know. The Serbia was in the Soviet Union, right? This fight shouldn't exist. Fuck this fight. Todorović by decision. I don't even want to pick a finish in this fight. I hope Jose Medina gets brutally knocked out and never have to see him again, but it's just funny that this dude's fighting in the UFC. Again, this is my problem. Like, how is the first fight on the main card, this bantamweight fight between Santiago and Quang Li, which kind of sounds like Quinn Lei? Or Lin Kuei for Mortal Kombat, even though they have nothing to do with each other. It's just so boring. Like, how are these the fights we have on this card? It's just absolutely pathetic. Dana White, you fucking suck. But I will point out, though, as you know, I'm big on the Tapology nicknames. Santiago Border Boy Luna versus Quang Bang Lei. Those are two elite nicknames. I'll leave it at that. If you want to walk away with anything. And Santiago and Border Boy is only 21. I mean, such a racist nickname, you know what I mean? But I love it. So, let's see. What do I even fucking think about this fight? Who cares about this fight? One guy's 21. That's all I'll say. Like Quang, I'm just gonna take him by decision. Is this Santiago Luna's debut? Yeah, he hasn't fucking fought anybody. Give me the dude who's at least fought in the UFC. You know what I mean? He hasn't really fought anybody, but give me the guy who's fought in the UFC. We'll just take him by decision. Again, I apologize for some of these really general. It's just, I don't give two shits about these fights. I don't really know much about these guys. I just know Quang Lei's fought in the UFC. So that's what I'm going to pick him. All right, now I know both these guys, and I'd say I enjoy both these dudes. Alexander Hernandez versus Diego Ferreira. I think that's how it's actually pronounced. But everybody remembers Alexander Hernandez's last fight when he fucking knocked out Chase Hopper. Or Hooper. Why did I say fucking Hopper? Chase Hooper. What was that? UFC Chicago? He just put him out at the end of the fucking first round, and I was devastated. To lose a true gooner like that is absolutely awful. I didn't pick Alexander Hernandez. I think I picked Chase Hooper by second round knockout. Some bullshit, even though he can't knock people out. That might not be true. I might just pick them by decision. At least these are some names. I'll say that. But I'm gonna pick Diego Ferreira. Diego. I'm just gonna call him Diego. I think Hernandez will probably look good early. He'll probably come out like, he's a little younger. He's turning 33 compared to Diego Ferreira. He's fucking 40. I mean, he's old as shit. But he's been one of those guys. People forget, man. He's super underrated. I mean, I think the last time he got like brutally put out. I mean, I bet if you look at these losses, I bet he's got finished. But like the last guy that really stumped him was Dustin Poirier, and that was a while ago. Like lost the decision to Grant Dawson. Grant Dawson's better than Diego. He was winning that Gamrot fight, right? And then just fucking got caught. So let's see, that's another legit guy that he lost to. And then Gregor Gillespie, yeah, that's 4 years ago though. Fuck that. He doesn't really fought much. He's old as shit. But you know what I mean? Like Diego Ferreira, he's battle tested. This is a classic guy that he's gonna fraud check, which I guess is really a fraud check because it's not like Alexander Hernandez is this amazing prospect, but he is young, and I see right down here 58% of people on Tapology are picking him, so really people like him. I think Ferreira, he'll mix in his kicks and his grappling, and that'll kind of be the edge out. And again, I hate to do, people forget, man, but he slept Michael Johnson. And I honestly think Michael Johnson might beat Alexander Hernandez today. My boy Michael Johnson, the true fucking 50-50 fighter, the GOAT. I guess if it's a really close fight, Hernandez could win by some robbery decision because the judges will just be more inclined to let the younger guy win so then they can keep building him up because this is how this fucking company works. But I'm just going to pick Diego Ferreira by 29-28 unanimous decision. A little bit boring, but he's an old guy. Do some looking. He was also supposed to fight Bobby Green, whatever, at UFC Chicago, right? And I don't know why I call it UFC Chicago, whatever it was, 321, 322, whatever it was. He was supposed to fight Bobby Green, and then he fucking dropped out. He was going to beat Bobby Green. I had picked him too. Now we're on to another blob fight, or really just one blob. The fattest of them all, Kelvin Gastelum versus Dustin Stoltz Fuss. Kelvin Gastelum missed weight for I think the 5th time, and he was 5 pounds overweight. It's a catchweight bout, obviously. I mean, this was supposed to be 185, but then Gastelum weighs in 6 pounds overweight because he eats fucking tacos on YouTube 3 weeks before the card. I mean, he's done it so many times, it's not a surprise. Don't get me wrong. He's a fat blob. And it's kind of crazy the fall from grace. Now you could see he's kind of become more of a 50-50 fighter. But this is a guy who fought Izzy at one point for the belt. Just wild. He might get cut regardless if he wins or loses, especially if he doesn't finish Dustin. But he should fight fucking my guy Brian Battle for the FMF, the fattest motherfucker belt. He should fight him for that, honestly. And they should do it in dirty boxing. Or they could do it in my backyard if they want to. I'm a Kelvin Gastelum guy. I like him. Everybody knows I love Brian Battle. So, you know, if they can get onto their feet and just blob up and fight, who wouldn't pay to see that in my backyard? Whoever wants to come and see it. One thing I'll say about Dustin Stolfus, he should be able to avoid Kelvin Gastelum's calf kicks. But yet again, I just think Kelvin Gastelum, he'll level change and then probably rock Dustin Stolfus. He'll get him on the ground, try and finish him. Won't be able to finish him. He'll just sit on top of him like a fat blob. Get a lot of control time. And again, he'll just get takedowns and be fat. That's kind of my take on this. So I'm going to go with another fucking decision. He might need a finish here. I guess he could go, if I'm going to predict a finish, I'm going to go lucky number 2. He'll get a round 2 TKO off of that rock. Maybe he gets ground and pound. But I'm still leaning him winning this, even though he's fat as shit. He needs to win this. He still could get cut, but at least if he wins this, he might have an argument. Here's another fight. Jared Gordon, Queens, New York, baby. And versus Rafa Garcia. Rafa Garcia, he's nothing fucking impressive. I don't know how this is the feature fight on the main card. I don't really know who asked for this. This card just needs to be flat out better. I remember last year how good it was. A championship fight. Like, remember Merab and fucking Sean O'Malley? I guess Dana didn't really give 2 shits about this because Canelo Crawford's also tomorrow. And he's just like, who the fuck cares, guys? Who the fuck cares? Sorry, I burped. What am I going to say? I'm picking Jared Gordon to win this. He's actually good. Underrated. Rafa Garcia, he's beat fucking nobody. And he just beats him by decision and then doesn't even look good against them. Like, he struggled against Clay Guida. Is that even in his last 5 fights? Let's see. Yeah, he struggled against Clay Guida. Like, you can't be doing that against fucking Clay Guida. Like, that's ridiculous. I love Clay Guida. He had that iconic fight with Diego Sanchez like 100 years ago. But it's a fun fight to watch back if you're ever bored. Jared Gordon, at least his losses are the competent fighters. And people forget, man. He was robbed against Paddy Pimblett. I mean, I guess people don't really forget because Paddy haters will just bring it up all the time. And I know Paddy broke his foot in that first round. But still, guy is always robbed in these fucking close decisions. Better boxer, better grappler. He's going to get his takedowns. He's going to overpower Rafa Garcia. And he's going to fucking land shots and bang in the clinch. We're going with Jared Gordon by round 2 TKO. A finish, finally. A finish for you guys. I like that. Round 2 TKO for my guy Jared Gordon, the Flash. Who isn't excited about that? All right, now we go on to our co-main. Rob Font versus Dave Martinez. It's supposed to be fucking, whatever. Raul Rosas, Chihuihuis was supposed to be here. And then David Martinez took this fight on short notice. David Martinez, his skill, in my opinion, is that he's Mexican and that he's 27. And he has one fight in the UFC against Simon Oliveira where he didn't even look good. Simon Oliveira sucks. I don't even think he's in the top 50 bantamweights in the world. Rob Font's just crafty, man. Like, he's experienced. He's a real fucking... He's a hard worker, that Rob Font. I also saw a video recently of him at a nice Airbnb in fucking Mexico. Or San Antonio. Excuse me, not Mexico. I just said in San Antonio. I always worry about these short notice fights taken, especially a guy like Rob Font, who's just experienced. He knows what he has to do to win, and he knows who he is. That's what I like about Rob Font. He's gonna get his takedowns. He's gonna grapple. He's got good kicks. He's a great gatekeeper. I'm gonna remember Rob Font as just a great gatekeeper. Not that that's his only legacy to me, but at the end of the day, that's just what I'm going to remember him as. I could see David Martinez have like a solid round fucking 1. But round 2 and round 3, I think Rob Font pulls away. One thing to know about David Martinez, he does have good body and leg kicks. But again, Rob Font's just going to outsmart him. He's going to put on a fucking veteran clinic. He's tough. Even if he gets rocked in the first round and David Martinez just comes out hot, he's good enough and has shown that he can just figure it out and he'll be fine. He'll figure out another fucking prospect. I'm leaning like a 29, 28, 30, 27 decision for my guy, Rob Font, who I would have picked to win even if he fought Chiwiwis. Chiwiwis is what, like 10 fucking years old. Rob Font was just that was a big jump in competition. So good for Rob Font, old as shit, 38. Nice guy. He's gonna win this by decision. All right, now we literally go to the only real fight anybody cares about. The only real reason any of you are tuning in to watch this. Skip to this part of the video. You don't even have to watch the rest. You could watch me call Kelvin Gastelum fat or hear me talk about Jose Medina's a blob. Those are probably the only 2 other things you want to listen to for this fight. When I heard this first announced, I remember immediately leaning John Silva. I've been a John Silva glazer for a while. I've always said he's the best in the fighting nerds. That's kind of been a trend now. People saying, oh, who's the best fighting nerd? Because Ruffy and fucking, what's his face? Kyle Bayo, and I guess Prates when he lost to Gary. Like, they lost all their hype. But I've stuck by John Silva as saying this guy's the best of the fighting nerds for a while. Absolutely schooled Bryce Mitchell. Moved up in weight class to beat Drew Dober. He has some wins, you know what I mean? I only think he's fought like 6 times in the UFC. But, again, this is going to be really one of those true 50-50 fights because I've jumped back and forth. As I said, I was leaning John Silva when this was first announced. Then all the fighting nerds start to fucking lose, and I'm like, maybe this is Diego Lopes's time. I mean, he put up such a great fight against Volk, I know. And I'm a Volk glazer. Like, people be like 4-1 or like whatever they said about that. He rocked Volk. I mean, he stood in there and ate a bunch of shots. You know, you can't discredit what Diego Lopes. He was technically close to being champion if he just finished fucking Volk, which I guess is a big if because it didn't happen. I do think this is such a massive jump in competition for John Silva. Bryce Mitchell's was a good ranked opponent at featherweight, but John Silva's just so much better than him, and I don't really know if that was a true test. Silva, he'll be able to deal with grapplers in higher paced fights. And some of my arguments against Diego Lopes would be, I don't think his footwork is anything like particularly great. Like, he's not super fast on his feet, even though he's really fast hands, great boxing. He's not going to wrestle a ton. And his head movement sucks, which I don't know why. Like, not enough people are bringing this up. Like, Volk really fucking punched his head in so many times. And John Silva, I mean, he's not a better striker than Volk. But it's just like eventually, like, what's saying John Silva can't just put you out in this fight? You know what I mean? Lopes is super powerful, and he can get submissions off his back. So if John Silva is shooting takedowns or is trying to get him to the ground, Diego Lopes isn't going to be the kind of guy to shoot the takedown, but he can get that submission if you shoot on him. I think part of my issue, if I were to, as I'm trying to think of who to pick here with Diego Lopes, is I think he relies too much on how strong his chin is. Like, he'll just get punched. He'll do his little tick thing where he wipes off his sweat off his Adam's apple or chin, and then he's good. He just thinks he's good to go. I think this is going to be an interesting fight to watch in the clinch because both these guys could fucking stand there and just drill each other in the body and with fucking elbows. I would give Silva a slight advantage in the pocket. But even then, maybe I don't. Maybe I think Diego Lopes is better in the pocket. So that's kind of my arguments against Diego Lopes for this. But my cases for Diego Lopes and against John Silva would be Diego Lopes has a championship experience. He went 5 rounds with Volk, as I said. I also said it may be too big of a jump for John Silva. The Fighting Nerds aura is disappearing. I mean, as much as I like to stand by my guys, it is going away. Like, you can't argue that. It doesn't look good for our guys. Maybe John Silva is the chosen one. Lopes also, I mean, lost, what, a close decision to Movsar. I like how he commits to his shots and just fucking sometimes just throws caution to the wind. And you know how much fucking power he has. I don't know if John Silva is going to be ready to deal with what the fight's going to be like when a clean 1-2 is actually landed on him. Because something to point out with John Silva, he's Drew Dober, fucking Bryce Mitchell, whoever that other guy, what's the name of that other guy he fought? It's like B something, not Drew Dober. Yeah. Melsick, however you pronounce his name. And Charles Jourdain too. Looking at those guys, like none of those dudes have the knockout power that Diego Lopes has, or are really threatening nearly as much on the feet. Like Bryce Mitchell, he's trying to take you down, fucking wrestle, fuck you, and then sub you. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have to worry about that at all. That's why he's kind of laughing around in that Bryce Mitchell fight, fucking emoting on you, fucking calm as can be. That's something I noticed. I'm like, that shit's not gonna happen in this fight. Even if I finally decide John Silva's gonna win this, he's not gonna be fucking around here smiling his ass off when he gets punched in the face by Diego Lopes. He's not going to be nearly as loose. Those fucking emotes are gone. Leave that Fortnite shit at home. He has the power. Diego Lopes has that power to disrupt John Silva's just overall looseness of his game. And one thing, as I make my prediction here, one thing I want to point out is maybe this is just a big reflection point for the Fighting Nerds. And I'm going to get that. I'm going to get to that in a second. I think I'm leaning Diego Lopes by third round knockout. And I'm probably going to regret this because if John Silva wins, people just go back to this video and be like, you left your guy. Oh, fuck you. Which it'll hurt to say, but I love Diego Lopes. I just think he's going to win this. I think the Nerds aura really disappearing is a real fucking thing. And again, I think this is a reflection point for the fucking gym as a whole. Like, remember when the Avengers, they don't really lose in Infinity War, but they do, because Thanos snaps his finger and then half of them fucking disappear away. And then they have to learn to kind of get people back and find Thanos and kill him. Maybe this is that kind of a point for the Fighting Nerds. And I know it's not like they're losing to one guy, but they're all losing at the same time. And they kind of have to have a moment and be like, shit, what do we have to change? Like, how do we fucking bounce back for this? Maybe they come back like the Avengers did in Endgame and they fucking kill Thanos and then, you know, they bring everybody back and they kill Thanos again. Maybe this loss will be, for John Silva, will be the loss that really pushes the Fighting Nerds over. Like, Carlos Prates fucking kills Leon Edwards. Kyle Baio, he fights Bobby fucking Knuckles. And then he kills Robert Whittaker, which I would be insanely upset about. But that's just kind of where I'm leaning. I think this is a big moment in the history of the Fighting Nerds, obviously. I could also see John Silva just getting a second round knockout because Diego Lopes doesn't move his fucking head at all. But I don't think he has more power than Volk. So it's like, do I really see Diego Lopes getting fucking flatlined? No. And I'm going to just jump on the bandwagon that the Fighting Nerds aura is disappearing and it's going to take a momentary break until Carlos Prates fucking sleeps Leon Edwards in Madison Square Garden in November. Also, another thing to point out that would worry me about picking Diego Lopes is he just become like a decent, or John Silva, he's just become like a big favorite, right? Or are these odds even correct? I thought Diego Lopes was a minus 200. Maybe they're flipped. I thought Diego Lopes was minus 200 favorite. And I was like, wow, that's too big. This fight should be closer. I think that's actually the case. But yeah, that worried me a little bit. But I'm going to lean Diego Lopes, round 3, knockout. Could go either way. Interested to see kind of what the next is for both these guys if this is what happens. But overall, this card sucks. Dana White should be ashamed of himself. Go promote fucking Canelo versus Crawford and all the other shit boxers there on that card. As for my prediction for that fight, I don't really know. I don't care much for them. I'm leaning fucking Terrence Crawford. Give me Kendrick Lamar just to win. I don't know. He has never lost. So him and Tony Ferguson are both undefeated boxers. So that being said, I need all of you to like, comment, and fucking subscribe. This was a shorter card breakdown, which I like. I want to keep them shorter. But this card also sucks. That kind of justified the shorter time. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what other content you want to see. Follow the TikTok because I'm going to post more on there. And yeah, thanks for watching. Nos vemos.